Do you want to be rich and have lots of money? Hold your horses and don't start printing cash just yet. Let me explain why that's about as smart as bringing a spork to a sword fight. After the Middle Ages, Europe decided to play a real-life game of Risk. Picture a bunch of fancy-pants monarchs fighting over a world-sized cake, each trying to grab the biggest slice of Africa, North America, and Asia. They stopped fighting each other and started conquering new lands like it was a competitive eating contest, but for territory. Why the sudden change, you ask? Well, being a great country back then was like being a fast food chain today. You had to have branches everywhere. Welcome to the era of imperialist expansion, folks, where every country wanted to be the McDonald's of world domination. Would you like some oppression with your colonization? Even if these new lands weren't wealthy, they provided free labor through slavery because apparently human rights were optional back then. It was like having unpaid interns, but way worse. But hold on to your tricorn hats, because these wannabe conquerors faced more challenges than a contestant on Survivor 16th Century Edition. Diseases, storms, and unfamiliar climates often wiped them out faster than you can say dysentery. Enter Spain, the crafty player who set its sights on South America, lured by tales of wealth that would make Scrooge McDuck weep with envy. Francisco Pizarro, a Spanish conquistador with a gold fixation that would put a magpie to shame, approached King Charles V in 1526. He was basically like, "Hey, Your Majesty, can I borrow the army to crush an empire? I promise to share the loot." Surprisingly, the king agreed. Maybe he thought, what's the worst that could happen? We lose a few men and some boats? Meh, worth it for the chance at bling. So off Pizarro went with 3 ships, 181 men, 27 horses, and enough shiny weapons to open a medieval party city. But where was the gold? Spoiler alert, there was none. Still, they pressed on, chasing the myth of El Dorado, a king supposedly covered in gold who bathed in a lake of riches. Talk about your extreme home makeovers. Instead, they found a mountain of silver so vast it could have funded a millennia's worth of pirate movies. This was Cerro Rico, the silver bomb that was about to explode all over economic history. But this cha-ching came with a big oh. Thousands of indigenous people died mining it. It was like the world's deadliest internship program. The silver flooded into Spain faster than teens rushing to a TikTok star's meet and greet. But as with all good things, like all-you-can-eat buffets, too much of it turned bad. Spain's economy got a case of silver indigestion, leading to that pesky little thing called inflation. Suddenly, their wealth became about as valuable as a chocolate teapot. Spain thought they'd hit the jackpot, but it turns out they were playing economic Jenga. Pull out too many silver blocks, and the whole tower comes crashing down. Remember how Spain was swimming in silver like Scrooge McDuck in his money bin? Well, all that glitters is not gold, or in this case, silver. The flood of precious metal into Europe was like giving the economy a sugar rush. At first, everyone was riding high, but then came the crash. Prices went up faster than a startled cat up a Christmas tree. This, my friends, is what we call inflation, the economic equivalent of a bad hair day that just keeps getting worse. Suddenly, your sack of silver coins couldn't buy you a decent meal, let alone a shiny new carriage. It was like trying to pay for a Ferrari with Monopoly money. But wait, there's more. This silver tsunami didn't just wreck Spain's economy, it spread faster than gossip in a small town. The rest of Europe caught the inflation bug, and before you knew it, the continent was in an economic meltdown that would make 2008 look like a minor hiccup. Now, you might be thinking, surely we've learned our lesson, right? Well, hold on to your wallets, because history has a way of repeating itself like a broken record player stuck on the world's most annoying song. Let's zip forward to the 20th century. Germany, fresh out of World War I, was saddled with more debt than a college student with a credit card addiction. But this wasn't just any debt, oh no, this was the mother of all IOUs. Thanks to the Treaty of Versailles, Germany was slapped with a whopping $400 billion in today's money, folks. It's like losing a bet and having to buy everyone on Earth a Starbucks latte. Faced with this financial Everest, what was Germany's bright idea? Print more money! It was like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Before you could say schnitzel, inflation went from bad to holy bratwurst, Batman. Picture this, people carrying wheelbarrows full of cash to buy a loaf of bread. Kids using stacks of money as building blocks because it was cheaper than actual toys. The German mark became so worthless, it was more practical to burn it for heat than to spend it. Talk about money to burn! But Germany wasn't the only country to join the Who Wants to Be a Worthless Millionaire club. Zimbabwe decided to give hyperinflation a whirl in the 2000s. They printed so much money that their currency lost more zeros than a math textbook. 100 trillion Zimbabwe dollars couldn't buy you a candy bar. It was like the entire country was playing a twisted game of Monopoly where everyone loses. So, what's the takeaway from this financial comedy of errors? Printing more money to get rich is like trying to lose weight by buying bigger pants. It doesn't work, folks. Money only has value because we collectively agree it does, kind of like how we all pretend kale tastes good. Printing money to solve economic problems is like trying to cure a hangover by drinking more. It might feel good for a hot minute, but you're just postponing the inevitable headache and making it much, much worse. Remember, folks, money is like a collectively agreed upon fairy tale. We all decide it as value, kind of like how we all pretend laugh tracks make sitcoms funnier. The moment we stop believing in it, poof, it becomes as useful as a chocolate teapot in a sauna. So, the next time you're tempted to solve all your problems by printing more cash, remember, you can't fool the economy. It's like trying to cheat at solitaire, you're only cheating yourself. And there you have it, history buffs and economy enthusiasts. The tale of how too much of a good thing can turn your economic dream into a financial nightmare. Remember, when it comes to money, moderation is key. Unless we're talking about your YouTube subscriptions, in which case, smash that subscribe button like it owes you money. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Hindsight Economics, where we learn that money doesn't grow on trees, but it can definitely grow useless. Don't forget to check out our sources in the description and leave a comment telling us what historical financial fiasco you'd like us to cover next. Until next time, keep your currency stable and your memes dank.